we get here for folks. Ah, there we go. Now I can get in the shot. Well, we got one like and no viewers. Oh, there the person is. All right. Get rolling here. All right, we're already up to 2. And yeah, I figured it was probably Garrett. So anyway, oh, it's growing. Hi, Diane. Got one of your holsters over here, another one over there, working on them, trying to get things done, but I had to take a break from holsters to do something that I wanted to try out here. I got a pattern in for cowboy cuffs. Hey, Plowboy, man, you made it to the front of one of these things. Something must be wrong. But anyway, as I was saying, working on a set of cowboy cuffs here. This is the first pair I'm going to be making, so I'm trying to figure things out. I'm not sure if these little straps are going to quite work out. It's supposed to be for a 1/2 inch wide strap, but these things are just under 1/2 inch wide on the pattern, so I'm going to have to egg them out a little bit. But I was going to try and do a basket weave on one of these right quick. And I thought, well, I'll do the chat here where I'm at it, at least on one of them. I got 2 of them here. And to make sure I kind of get things squared away, I got to work on both of them at the same time for a little bit here. But anyway, yeah, we're already off to a real good start. 7 people already in. Awesome. Now I got to figure out where I put everything, because this desk, table, whichever, has been a fiasco for a couple days. Oh, I got to make sure I don't lose those. That's scrap. That's trash. I don't have a trash can here. Oh, I got tools rolling around that I don't know where they belong. And I probably should have organized my tools before I started this chat. But anyway, yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, as soon as I find my wing dividers, I'm going to mark out where I want this panel to get started off. As soon as I find my wing dividers. And maybe I'm not going to find my wing dividers. There's the wing dividers. I thought they were around here somewhere. All right, I've seen a couple chats pop up here. Let's see if I can do this without knocking the phone down. Oh, Franklin, that does not sound fun. I broke my arm when I was in 8th grade, 7th grade. I was in 7th grade. Broke it right in the growth plate, so when I stick my arms out, this one's about 1 inch shorter than the other. Yeah, Franklin, well, you might have to, or learn to shoot off your elbow instead of with your other hand. Of course, I don't know which hand you broke and which dominant there, but all right, let's see here. So, start off with, to mark this thing with the wing dividers, I'm going to wet them. I have to do that. I'm going to roll my sleeves up. But anyway, yeah. Been busy running around. Of course, yesterday I ran around and I did some waterfowl hunting. Got a beautiful mallard. And it is sitting in my freezer hole right now because my hunting friend, partner, Miss Caroline, really wants me to get it mounted. So I guess I'm not going to eat that one. It's going to get mounted. I'm not going to eat it right away. I'll take it to the taxidermist, see if they can get the meat out for me. Gotta call the taxidermist here as soon as I get some leather done and see if I got a little extra money to get it done. But yeah, I think a duck mount's $200-300, so it's not terribly bad. All right. So I got this leather nice and wetted here. The first panel, I'm going to have to do both these panels at the same time on this part. So I'm going to mark out where I want my panel to go. I think we'll do the back part first. I want to make that just a little smaller. Not that small. Right about there. Kind of start it right in there. And this is just marking. I'll actually cut the panel with my swivel knife once I get that far. And kind of bring it over there in that area. All right. I'm going to set that one aside and then bring the other one up here. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is so that I know my panels are identical, or as close to them as I can get. So I'm going to go ahead and wet both these. So this one, when it gets said and done, I'm going to line it. I've got some bunch of goat skin that I bought when Springfield Leather was having sales on it. And I got a bunch of them. I thought about lining holsters with them. Yeah, Diane, it'll be a half cross draw on that half flap. And in all honesty, I cut the belt loops to fit a 3-inch belt, and it fits it pretty stout. So if you're using like an 1 3/4 belt, there's enough wiggle room there. You can stand it up and have a straight draw, or put it on the other side and have a cross draw. It's one of those reasons why I like those flat belt loops. It gives you a little more versatility. But it is designed and intended to be a cross draw. And now my hands are wet. I got it. No, that's Garrett's over there. That half flap. Yours is over here because I screwed up and I forgot to make the tabs that hold the flap down. And I went and got yours dyed, and it's light like you'd asked. Almost that color there. Went and got it dyed, and then I realized I didn't have those tabs cut out. So the only reason it's sitting over there and I haven't got any further on it is because I haven't got outside yet to do the rest of the dyeing process, which try to get a bunch done that I can dye all at once. That's why I'm working on these, because I'm going to intend to dye them russet as well. And that way I can get my air gun set up so that I can do them all at once. Okay, I'm going to come in here like so. Mark that. Come in here like so. Mark that as close as I can get, because it's got a little tab that runs out. I want this panel to be square, not following contours. So I'll mark this one right quick. I'll go somewhere in here. JH! Boy, I haven't seen you on one of my chats in a long time. How are you doing? And West Covina. Glad to have you boys both on. Hope you all are doing well, and happy Thanksgiving to you. If you all aren't familiar, give me a second here. JH586, Jamie's runs a chat over called the Georgia Shooting Connection. They do some chats over there on the YouTube. Be sure to check them out here. You guys still doing it every Friday? forget what time on Friday, but yeah, I haven't watched one of those in a long time, to be honest. Uh, all right, now I'm going to kind of straighten these lines out and get them connected hereabouts. All right, overlapped one little corner there and one little corner there. It's not that bad. Alrighty. See here, I can read this here. It's gonna be a lively chat today. Holy Moses. Alright. You know, I hate doing this chat through the phone. I'm gonna start doing it through StreamYard. Hey, Jersey Red. Yeah, JH here says every Friday, 8 Eastern. So that'd be 6 o'clock my time. So yeah, if you folks are interested, go check that out. That's a pretty good show. I just haven't watched it because I never have time to do it anymore. Now I got to find my swivel knife, and I don't remember what I did with that last time I used it. I did not put it away. I know that. Oh shoot. Yeah, because there's the blades. There she be. There she be. There she be. Alrighty, and where's my strap? As you can tell, I'm a little disorganized here. Judging by the smell from the sewer line, somebody flushed the toilet upstairs, and the problem is I'm downstairs, so the smell backs up through the shower, so I may have to step off here to go turn the vent on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go turn that vent on. Pardon me for a quick minute, folks. All right, looks like we had a little hiccup here. All right. So I got everything marked out. I'm not going to be particular on which one I start on here, but everything marked out. So now I'm going to take my swivel knife and I'm going to go cut those lines. And I done run it on the strop. You always run this beautiful thing on the strop before you start cutting. I try to make that a general rule with any cutting implement that I'm using. You know it's getting bad when you have to take your glasses off to see. And the thing I was that bad earlier this year, and I went to the eye doctor, and I'm already getting to where I can't see very well. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to run this knife down. I'm trying to keep it as vertical as I can, but I notice I have a habit of canting it over a little bit from time to time. And the key is keep your leather wet. There was one spot there where it was a little dry. The way I can tell is that this thing quits digging in and starts to kind of glide. If it's wet, this thing will dig through. Now for this pattern pack, and I got this pattern pack from St. Louis, or Springfield Leather, not St. Louis Leather, Springfield Leather. And They say to use 8 to 9 ounce, which is what I use for all my leather work, almost all my leather work. But you do have to have a little bit lighter. I do have some. Yeah, I figured it's time to start expanding the business out beyond holsters. And start doing things like these cowboy cuffs. I found some patterns for some double magazine carriers. Go on your belt. And they're not patterns I'm going to use. They're somebody else's patterns. I'm just taking that to kind of get me a starting point. And then I will modify it to my style. Yeah, then to kind of finish things off, or well, before I get too started, I should say. My God, I'm gonna put my maker's mark kind of in the center-ish, and I'm just eyeballing this, to be honest. It's gonna be pretty darn close, and got her made. So I remember for last time when we was on the chat, I talked about my handle split out on me. And I was going to make me a nice leather one. Well, my uncle beat me to the punch. He made one out of oak. And when I got it, it was so dadgum beautiful. And it was the exact same color as my old handle. So I decided to use it. So I'm going to buy another maul because I'm always of the opinion you should have redundancy so that in case one goes down, you can still operate. So I'm going to buy another little mallet like this if I don't get a higher dollar one, and if I get another cheap one like this one, I'll make that leather handle on that. That leather feels real nice in the hand there. All right, so to get my basket weave, hey Hardy, I have to look that up, Diane. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I haven't watched on Gunsmoke. I haven't watched too many episodes with Burt Reynolds in it. One of my favorite ones though is with him. The one few I've seen, him and Festus, and they get to fighting and they break his bellows, so they go all the way to whatever town in Kansas to get a new set of bellows. And after they get the bellows, they come back and they get to fighting again, and they break the new bellows, so they get in the wagon at the end of the episode and go do it again. But yeah, I need to watch more Gunsmoke. Somewhere in here is, that's what I'm looking for. So, to get started on my basket weave, I got this little ballpoint stylus. It's got two balls on it. One's just a hair smaller than the other one. So I'm going to use that to make my line. So all this ballpoint stylus really does. And is that a good enough angle for the basket weave, or should I do it like that? I'll do it like that angle. Now, me and basket weave, I can basket weave all right. But going around something with basket weave is a challenge. All right, and I notice my hands are probably a little dirty because I got a couple marks now on the leather. But I've been sewing holsters here all morning, so I'll probably have a little residual dye on my hands. That's all right. This is going to get dyed too. It's going to get basket weave. You won't see it that much. So what I did with that ballpoint is I just made a line there, and when it's wet, that ballpoint stylus make a little indentation. It's not really cutting leather, it's just pushing it down. That'll be my line to run with. And for basket weave, I got 2 stamps, and a friend of mine, she sent these to me because I had one just exactly like this, but it was out of this new zinc style stuff, and it broke on me. I mean, you could take that stuff and just bend it with your hand. So she happened to have a steel one, and then she sent me this other steel one here that's a little bit of an angled shape. So as much as I like the straight one, I think I'm going to use the the angled one. That tends to be the one that I've been my go-to here lately. And I probably should have washed my hands, but I ain't too bad. This is a prototype anyway. So I'm just going to set that basket weave right on that line. And gonna go to stamping it in here. Kind of line things up there. And one of the keys to successfully tooling is good lighting. And I don't have the best lighting here. It ain't the worst. I wished I had a long LED bar that set just about 2 foot off the top of this table, maybe 3, and that would go a long ways. Back home in Colorado, I had that set up, but here I don't. I should have brought those bar lights with me. Back in Colorado, way at my dining room, well, living room, dining room, kitchen, because it's just a tiny little thing. Way it's set, my great grandmother had a oversized windowsill for putting plants in. Underneath it, she had hooks to hang stuff from under there, and I just put that light in there on those hooks, and worked perfect. Just absolutely perfect. And the reason I'm rotating this back and forth is so that I can see to put that on the line, get everything lined up just right. Actually, this set beings, I have someone interested in a set of these. Like I said, basket weave. This may go to them if they turn out right. If not, they'll be a prototype. I really should go wash my hands right quick. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, Hardy, if you want to know about topography in Kansas, watch the 11 Bang Bang Boys' Halloween special. They did. Some beautiful country down there. Oh, Jersey, I'm hoping I don't get arthritis. I like to do this for a long time. Hardy, yeah, candlelight. No way. Yeah, Franklin, I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, those articulating arms, those are nice. I might have to look into one of those now that you mention that. I had one that had a big magnifying glass in it. Of course, I hated using the magnifying glass. It just drove me nuts. But it had a big fluorescent bulb in it. I used that for a long time, and then that bulb burned out. And I couldn't find a replacement, and then I was getting into doing this live stream stuff, so I had a microphone, but I didn't have a boom arm for that mic, and so I cut the head off of the thing and used that boom arm for a microphone stand. All right, as you can see, I got this thing kind of dirty now, so I'm going to have to see if I can scrub that off, but may not stand out too bad. But I got my line there. Oh, let's see here. Hey, Garza. Howdy, Trapper. Whoops. About screwed up there and shut the stream off. So anyway, I got my line of basket weave going. As you can see, I had a little bit of dye on my hand there from when I was working on holsters earlier days. I want to see if I can get that off right quick. I think it did come off too. Yeah, if you think your hands are clean, just start working on leather work. Let's see if I can do this without scratching the leather too much. Use the Brillo. Ooh, that is scratching the leather. And the sad thing is, usually when it gets in the leather, that's it. But little dye, you gotta know the difference. And let's put a light coat of. This will probably get a light coat of russet on it. Yeah, right now I've got 5 holsters that are sitting over on the table. I got to dye the edges on and put the oil to them and then slick the edges, and they're ready to ship out. And Garrett, if you're wondering, I think I'm going to get all but 1 holster in that box, so I may have to send it in 2. But I might try to repackage it here. But Garrett's going to get to find out how many holsters Duke can stick in a box. Yeah. All right, and so then when you go back over it, you just line up. Well, there's 2 bars on each side. You just line up the 2 bars on the length side with the 2 marks from the bars on the stamp previous. And if everything goes right, you can get them all squared out. Now, one thing nice about basket weave that gets so confusing, if you have a mistake on a big piece like this, you won't notice it. As I think I used this stamp on Garrett's pommel bags that I made that's got the holsters in them. And you don't notice it very well. It pretty well blends. On a smaller piece, then you tend to notice it. On their Patterson revolver holster that I just made, it's got a slight blemish, but I think I got it camouflaged enough that you can't really notice it. But it's always, when you go around my maker's mark, that's every time, that's where it gets all screwy. And it doesn't take much to foul things up. All right. Because one can be just a hair out of line and you don't notice it, but as you go along, it just keeps on magnifying it. And when I get to the edge, I don't put the whole stamp down. I go in at a little bit of an angle. All right, let me get you up here on the chat. Yeah, Frank, the only thing with the magnifying glass is my eyes are so off, I cannot look through magnifying glass with both eyes. And I'm the same way on binoculars too. The only set of binoculars I've been able to ever use both eyes in is actually Caroline's set of Vortex binoculars, which is why in the future here I'm going to buy a set of those. Yeah, my eyes are so screwy. Gary, yeah, those bags turned out a lot better than I thought they would. Glad you guys were able to get some good use out of them. I think one of these days, Garrett, you're going to have to do a video on all those holsters because I don't know how many I've sent y'all. I'm going to have to get a tabletop with all the leather on it. Actually, I need to check the time here. Oh, I got plenty of time. I say I got an appointment I got to get to at 6, and it's only 2:22. But anyway, yeah. This type of tooling is kind of monotonous, and it seems like it never ends. And once it gets done, it's nice and pretty. All right. Yeah, I didn't think anything popped up. And it might be getting a slight curve to it on this end here. But yeah, if anybody's interested in a set of these cowboy cuffs, I thought I could do them for a little cheaper, but they're actually going to run about the same price as holsters, a pair of holsters, that is. Just for the simple fact that they take up about as much leather as 2 holsters. Add in the basket weave stamping and yeah, it'll add up on there, but like I said, I'm going to line these. Oh crap, you know, I just realized I didn't put tape on the back of this. So I hope it doesn't get stretched too much, because this basket weaving stretches leather really good. Of course, I don't have it soaked all the way through, but and it is a fairly big piece, but they have been known to stretch. This is also good Herman oak, so I hope it don't stretch too much. But yeah, take a break here for a second. The pattern pack came with this beautiful tooling pattern, and I'm gonna put this on a set one of these days. I'm gonna try my tooling on that. It's a beautiful pattern. I'm gonna try to make a nice fancy one, nice fancy set of cuffs. But it's gonna be a little ways in the future yet. Oh, and for things coming up, I think Garrett talked me into trying to do a chat on the 3rd of December, which is a Saturday. And I haven't quite figured out exactly what I was going to do yet. So I was thinking maybe I would put it to you, the audience, as to what y'all would like to see on that chat. Thinking maybe doing something history related. But Garrett and I are doing a chat on Garrett remind me the 10th. I think we're going to try to finish out the 1876 campaign up here in the Powder River country. Also, the Great Sioux War, try to finish that out. Was going to do it just on Rosebud, but I'm going to see if I can get read up, and we'll go from there on what all we get accomplished in that chat, what all we go over. Now, this piece of leather did have a little bit of a blemish in it. I don't know what it was, or if it got laid on something in the factory, but it just had a little bitty bump. So I'm hoping that don't screw things out here. I do have a little bit of a curve in that, but it's not terrible. All right. Dang, we already been going for 37 minutes. Time flies when you're basket weaving. Okay. I didn't quite get that Maker's Mark center, but it ain't going to be too terrible. Noticeable. Yeah, I got a little curve to it. All right, check the chat here. Okay, all right. Let's see. Here it says, as soon as this box gets in, we'll make a big video. I think we'll have 1450-year holsters now. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, you got quite got a few of them. Not sure on that one, Franklin. Okay, Diane votes on Oregon Trail history. All right, I ain't the strongest on the Oregon Trail, but yeah, I'm not real strong on that. I got a lot of material, but I need to read it. Garrett's like, yeah, 10th of December. Okay. So yeah, I could try to do Oregon Trail. Just do a quick overview. And then, yeah, then I think the next chat I'm doing with Garrett's going to be the 23rd of December. I do remember that day. But, yeah, I try to do as much as I can. I still don't have a computer with me. I've got one down in Colorado. Thinking about bringing that sucker back up with me when I come back up here after Christmas. But I don't want to get too much crap set up. All right. as things start to dry out on you, you have to wet them down. I'm going to have to finish this roll, and I'm going to have to re-wet my leather here. All right. I better re-wet my leather. Check the. Oh, Garza, we can talk about the history of gun leather. Yeah. That actually ain't a bad idea there. Fairly familiar with all that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll talk a little bit of the history of the gun leather. Anybody else want to vote on that, feel free. So currently we've got Oregon Trail and history of gun leather. And anybody else want to throw out an idea or start throwing a vote in for one or the other? The heck happened there? I got off on that one. All right. Okay, got 2 votes for history of gun leather. Oh yeah, it really got off on that one. Yeah, well, it's not that noticeable. Yeah, got a little twist in the basket weave there. Well, like I said, not absolutely terrible. All right. Oops, we're down to 7 viewers. Oh, well. Ain't the most exciting chat I've got. Louisiana Gray says gun leather. All right. That's 3 for gun leather. Oh boy. Yeah, history of the Virgin Fraser Production Channel. Jesus, that'll be a short video. All right, so that's one side basket weave. It's actually going to look pretty good. Hope I didn't stretch that much. There's one way I can find out right quick. Didn't stretch a bit. All right. Yeah, we'll do the history of the gun leather one. Yeah, we can throw some Oregon Trail and stuff in there too. What the heck? Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a bunch of tools. I'm thinking about getting a couple new Maker's Mark stamps. And I need to figure out where to go get them from. I've got my stamp that I got now. I bought that from a fella. I don't even know if he's in business anymore, but it's a magnesium one, and it works real good. It's the round one there. Of course, I showed it on this. But I was thinking of getting one. And I'm going to use one of Garrett's holsters here to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, Garrett, this one didn't get my Maker's Mark because this was originally supposed to be mine, so I didn't put it on there. But I was thinking about getting one because RT Fraser and several others, they had a Maker's Mark that they could fit in on these loops. Hi, Ed. So I'm thinking about getting one of those to go across there and then getting another oval-shaped one. But I kind of want to go with a steel style. And hoping it don't break the bank. But if anybody knows out there of anyone that makes some really good Maker's Mark custom made stamps, let me know. And I would be greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I was thinking of doing one like the old RT Fraser one. RT Fraser was a saddle maker. Guess we'll do a little history stuff here while I'm talking. But he was out of Pueblo, Colorado. And he spells his last name same as me. And my dad, at one point, had an RT Fraser saddle. With it kind of cool because, you know, we're Frasers. I have a Fraser saddle. That's my phone giving me a notification. I don't know what it was for. But anyway, I did my research on him, and I'm of no relation, but I thought, you know, it'd be cool to get a stamp just like his. And he was out of Pueblo, Colorado, which is not too far from my hometown. But, yeah, I thought it'd be cool one of these days to have a stamp like that. Buddy of mine that does Living History, he was familiar with them. And I was joking with him one day. Told him, I was like, yeah, I said, should Nate, or he was joking, he said, anyway, yeah, I was joking about it. I told him, I was like, yeah, I said, you know, unfortunately I don't have an original anything from RT Fraser and Company, but I said, the thing is, when you buy a holster from me, it is a genuine Western Fraser holster. But he's got there is a holster. It's in the packing iron book, wherever that got to. It's somewhere right here. I found one of his holsters, and here soonish, I'm going to make a copy of that holster because there's a holster that I got that I made a pattern of, and only one person's bought it, and that's Garrett. It's for 5.5 inch. It's a double loop, but it's got a round toe on it. Um, I found RT Frazier holster. It has that exact same profile, but it's not really a loop holster. It's rather unique. Instead of having your traditional loop that goes around, what they did is they sewed it and made a pocket on it. So I've been thinking about here trying to make that, because all I got to do is lay that pattern out for that loop holster and just make a copy of that skirt, and then just make a pouch and slip it in there. So I'm thinking about doing that here pretty soon. I just had a thought of how I can keep my line straight going across this leather. So I got my ruler on here, set on my line with my basket weave. So I'm just going to come in here real lightly, very lightly, and I'm going to continue my line so that when I set this stamp on here, it should, in theory, stay flush. All right, got that one done. Oh, it's going to come right up to the edge of that. All right. My line is right there. We'll see. I may have just figured it out. Alrighty. Now I'm getting all kinds of... My phone automatically installed Twitter on me. It sounds like they're running the street sweepers, if that's what you hear in the background. Automatically installed Twitter on there, and now I get all kinds of notifications. I need to take it out of there. It's driving me nuts. Oh, it's just a bunch of political BS. I'm so sick of politics. It's like, leave me alone. Go away. Alrighty. Kind of bungled that one. I think I can fix it. Nice thing is that part will be underneath. You ain't gonna see that. Oh boy. Alright, I'm gonna run this just a hair off the side there. finish this. I'll go back here and read the chat and see what I've missed here. Yay, there's Doug. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised. This stupid phone has downloaded so much crap on here. See, what were those notifications? No, it was Instagram and a bunch of other stuff. I need to turn my notifications off, but no, it was a Twitter notification. It was the one that dinged earlier. And that's the thing about that Twitter notification. It's got to send me like 3 of them in a row for the same God blessed thing. And you're not going to be square. You ornery SOB. Go figure. Good news is, I masked it. That's the squarest it's come around on a corner like that, going around my maker's mark. Hey, Saboteur! Wheels and levers! Alright, more people showing up. I guess we'll run it for a little while longer here. Anyway, for those of you just coming in, what I'm working on here is a set of cowboy cuffs. I got a pattern in for these. This particular set, I'm basket weaving. This is the prototype set. Once I get this basket weaved, I'm going to dye it. It'll just be a light russet. I'm not going to do a dark russet. Yeah, once I get that on there, then I will line it. It's going to be lined with a goat skin because I got a crap ton of goat skin I'm not using. I bought that to line holsters and stuff with, and I've not done anything like the sort. So the big reason is when I order it, the colors online different than the colors that you actually get. The one I got that I did line, I lined Caroline's holster with it. It was supposed to be, I thought, a white goat skin. It was a silver goat skin. Thankfully, I'm using the suede side, so that silver stuff, I just glued that to the inside of the holster so you can't see the silver, but that white, it made a beautiful holster liner. The problem is I glued it before I dyed the holster, and oh my God, I got that all over on that inside. But Caroline loves that holster, and she still uses it. But yeah, it didn't turn out quite like I thought it would. And then I bought some brown, and boy was it brown. It was dark brown. So I got a bunch of that. I don't know what I'm going to use that for. And then I found one that's kind of a gold color. Looks like gold deer skin. And so that one is what this will get on the inside of it. But I wish I had some like 1 or 2 ounce veg tan. I would line it with that. The problem is, I notice when you line it with veg tan, boy, does it get stiff. Oh no. Dadgummit, I hit that one on a glancing blow. Well, it came out of it. About to get this one done, and we've only been at it for about an hour. But yeah, if anybody's wondering if you want a basket weaved holster, I usually charge an extra $30 to do a basket weave. There was one holster I did for a guy that wanted basket weave. It was a 5.5. It's just like that one I showed that I'm sending to Garrett, that double loop. Man alive, was that beautiful. I hated to turn that holster. That was probably the absolute best, most beautiful basket weave I've ever done. And I've got another pattern tool that I got that does a diamond, and I did that on the one strap. My God, did it come out just absolutely beautiful. Oh, man, was it beautiful. Getting down to the end. All right. I think we are at the end. Do one little tap there. Just get the lines. All right. There's the finished panel on the basket weave. That is really pretty. I'm going to double check here and see how the stretch was on it. I don't think it was too terrible bad. Well, it did stretch just a hair. It gained an extra 1/4 inch. Not terrible. I can live with that. But yeah, I was gonna buy some blue painter's tape today at the when I went to town, because I went to the hardware store and I forgot to do it. I forgot to go to the hardware store is what I forgot to do. But anyway, so once I get the basket weave done, I'll go ahead and wet this again. Yeah, I was going to go to the hardware store and get me some steel wool and some vinegar. I'll get the vinegar at the grocery store, probably steel wool there too. Anyway, I was going to go to town and get that stuff. I was going to try to make some vinegaroon, and totally blew my mind. Got other things on my head when I was at the store and forgot about it. Such is life. All right, so on this edge, the basket weave never comes up, makes a real clean edge. So I'm going to take a, this is a sunburst tool that I really love to use. It's probably one of my favorite tools. And I'm just going to go along the edge here and put that down as a border. I'm not quite hitting it square, I'm hitting it back at an angle. And that kind of makes it lay a little nicer. And usually what I do in the corner is I come at a 45 in the corner. I forgot to do that on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do that all the way across. So I get started on one side, especially when I'm coming out of the corner, and then I'll do a couple in, and then they don't, if they overlap, they don't stand out as bad, because sometimes I've had them turn out to where they follow that contour just perfect, and then sometimes you're off by just a little bit. And if you're off in a corner, you notice it. Now that one turned out just nice. And it went straight across there. No problem. And I'll go here on this side and do the same. And on these cowboy cuffs, I ain't going to worry as much about being 100% perfect, because on these edges anyway, because they're going to be on the downside, you don't see them. I'll try to keep them a little better on the parts you do see. No, Diane, I didn't take any classes. It's not, just kind of started doing it on my own. I watched a YouTube video. It was on, oh God, I can't think of the guy's name. He's out of Florida. Anyway, he's friends with a guy that owns a leather shop called Andrew's Custom Leather, and if you've seen the movie Magnificent Seven, you've seen this guy's leather work. He did all the leather for that movie, or all the leather for the main characters. That Andrew. So, watched a video on how to on holsters, and he went through the whole process about how you cut them out, make your patterns, draw it out, burnish your edges. I mean, goes through the whole steps. And I was like, if I'm going to make myself a holster, I'm going to make it nice. And then, I just started doing it, and it's actually not all that difficult to do. And even that guy, Mr. Andrews, said within an hour he could teach anyone how to do leather work. So that's where I got started at it, and my first holsters weren't that great. And I was using cheaper leather, which even the cheaper leather, they still made some good holsters, made some beautiful holsters. And it's just been years of experience since then. I think I started doing this in 2017 or 2018. It's been so long, I can't even remember. But anyway, I probably could have fit a stamp right there. Well, it's too late now. Starburst will cover it up. So I just started doing it, kind of self-taught, and going to have to take a break here and catch up on the chat. I see I've missed a lot. All right. I'm going to pick the phone up here to do this. My hands are starting to hurt. All right. We had Doug sitting there, wheels, levers. Hey, Steven. Yeah, I can do that, Steven. I'll have to dig through there and find you because I've gotten a lot of them. Yeah, Wheels, your holster is actually, it's still on the roll. I haven't cut it yet, so it's right over there. Because I've got so many holsters right now cut out and set. I haven't cut it yet. It's drawn out. I'll do it. Do you want the white or the yellow for the lining? For the, because I got a white goat skin, I got a yellow goat skin. I don't want to use my good brain tan deer skin because I'm trying to save that for my buckskin suit. But yeah, shoot me an email and let me know what color you'd like. Yeah, Diane. Yeah, I remember my mom kind of played with some of those leather kits when I was younger, but yeah, I just kind of picked it up because it came down to I wanted a holster for every gun I owned, and I didn't want to pay for it. Sabater, when you making Geronimo's rig? That would be one fun one to make, but I'd have to do that for money. I wouldn't be doing it for myself, and it's going to cost. Yeah, Franklin. Yeah, Tandy leather kits. Yeah, I remember seeing some of those. I thought about buying them when I got started, but I never did. But yeah, I've done business with Tandy, but I pretty much do most of my business now with Springfield Leather. That being said, Tandy does make some nice tools, like these awls. These are Pro, Tandy Pro, Craft Tool Pro. The only problem is when you first get them, this is a brand new one. I haven't because I was so scared that my other one was going to break on me because I believe in redundancy, like I've said before. When you first get these, this one's brand new. I haven't used it other than to mark holes to attach belt loops. That will not go through that leather. It won't. It's dull. I mean, I can run my fingers on it. This is a diamond cut, so it's the same diamond as what my punches are. I've got my other one. Let me grab that right quick. And this one, one of the reasons I got nervous is I got this stuck in a holster. I was putting a toe plug in, and the blade actually moved forward a little bit on me when I finally got it out. But this is the one I've used for a few years, and I had my uncle sharpen it, and it goes right in. It needs to be honed a little bit. It used to just it'd go right in through my fingers a few times, but it's starting to get dull, so I'm gonna have to take and put it on the fine polishing paper and just polish the edges, but it still cuts a diamond. Yeah, that little tool right there, that is a lifesaver when it comes to putting in toe plugs. I had one that was a lot shorter, and when I go to put the toe plugs in, the edge of it would actually mark that toe plug. So then I ordered this longer one. But my uncle, when he sharpened it, he did it on his belt sharpener, and he actually changed the dimension of the point just a hair. So you see here, this is doesn't focus very well. This is a fairly round point. This one is a sharper point. And I think when he did that, he actually improved the tool quite a bit because it, like I said, when it's honed up, got to polish it, but it goes right through leather. It don't take much. You just kind of poke it through there and make sure your fingers aren't in the way. It'll go through your finger too. Okay, so I got my Starburst on there on the edge, and not done yet. So I'm going to take a beveler. This beveler is actually stippled. So it's rough. It gives a little bit darker background. And I'm going to go around the edge of that too. Let me read the thing here. Oh, nice, Steve. Franklin toe plug. Yeah, in holsters. Let me grab one here. Grab Garrett's again because it's closer. That is the toe plug. It plugs the toe of the holster. Now, historically, some of these have a hole in them. I just forget to put the hole in them sometimes, and sometimes I don't always get the hole center. But you see some that don't have a hole in them. So yeah, I just put the toe plug in there, and that just keeps stuff from going into the muzzle of your gun. Like if you fall down in the dirt, it protects it. The third thing is if it gets water in it, it holds the water. That's why you put the drain hole in there. But like I said, I have seen examples where they didn't. Oh, I almost messed up. I'm not done with my sunburst yet because I like to do a sunburst around my maker's mark because that's another edge where you don't. The basket weave don't come completely together. So I just take that sunburst. And to be honest with you, I even do this around my maker's mark without the basket weave. Just to give it a little bit fancier embellishment. And Garrett told me the other day, he's like, I've never seen that before. And I think if he goes and he looks on his pommel bags, I think I put that one on there. Maybe oops, that one wiggled on me a little bit. Just go all the way around that. My arm's getting tired and starting to bounce a little bit. And then I'll take a mule foot. I'll set that mule foot between each of those little starbursts. Or sunburst or whatever burst that is. I always forget. Anyway, yeah, I do that around the maker's mark, and that makes it a little prettier. Steven, I went on Google, and I happened to come around a guy that made these, and they're made out of magnesium, so you don't ever want to use these with a heat applicator. Oh, you'll start a fire that you can never put out. But I had him make it, and then it has this big handle on here for thumping it with a mallet, and it's just JB welded on there. He makes the head, and then he makes the tool stamp. Yeah, I've got that one made custom. I got a US stamp that I got, and it's a 3D printed one. And I think I'm going to see if I can find somebody that can make me a steel one of those too, because I think it'd just be easier. I'm afraid that plastic one ain't going to last as long. And then the guy, it's funny, I called him up because I ordered it, and it took a while for me to get that US stamp. And I called the guy up and I said, hey, I got to notice that you had finished my stamp and was ready to ship it, but I said, I don't have anything for shipping on it. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's still sitting on my desk because I wanted to double check, make sure that's what you wanted. And he sent it to me. At that point, I got it just a few days later. And used it, and it worked good. And then I went back to my mailbox, and he sent me another one. So it's like I got two of them. So if one breaks, I got a backup. So what I'm doing now, just to kind of make this a little prettier, is I've got this beveler that's got that kind of that stippling on it, backgrounding, shading, whatever you call it. And I'm just going along that edge where I run that knife. Whoops, and I run off the edge. Alright, it's going to get a little bit of a background in there too. And I am just running that down the thing just to bevel that edge. Edge bevel is what I'm doing. Alright. But I am notorious about forgetting to put my maker's mark on stuff. So some people get holsters and they don't have a maker's mark on them. It just comes down to, I didn't think about it until after it's too late. Once you get dye on leather, forget wetting it and putting a maker's mark. It just doesn't work. If I catch it and it's just neat's foot, it'll work. But if I don't catch it and I get the dye on it, forget it. It is a super pain in the rear to try to fix it after that. And so far I haven't had any complaints, so. But I've had a few customers that very adamant, they remind me on a daily basis that they want that maker's mark on there, so. Oops, and I run out of the cut again. All right, wheels and levers. Oh, $2. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. Saboteur. These are the prototype, but if they turn out nice, I think Garrett's got first dibs. But yeah, I'm just practicing on here. Like I said, I'm wanting to add these to my selection of stuff. I'm going to be making another set here before too long. Whoops. I better find that because I need that. I'm going to be making a set of them. This is a pattern, tooling pattern that come with the pack, one of the two patterns. I'm going to put this on another set. I think those will look really nice. That set's going to go for a high dollar. Just warn you now, that is going to really up the price on them. All right, I'm just going to keep going down the line here all the way around, and we're almost done. I think I'll have to wet it one more time. Basket we've got across the line there, and all right. Yeah, wheels and levers. I will hopefully here, if I can get everything done this week, next week I will be starting your Bohannon holster. I'm just, like I said, I'm so full up with holsters. I got 2, 3, 4 other ones I got to do. Got a guy that wants a really fancy one I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I'm trying to get things moving here as quick as I can. I just took a little break today on this because it's like, yeah, I want to try something new. And then here tonight, I will get started on the, started back up trying to get these things finished. I got 3 I just need to, or 5 I need to dye the edges and burnish the edges on. I still have 2 Walker holsters available. I got a black and a russet, left-handed russet, right-handed black one. The right-hand russet has been sold. I just gotta, I gotta sew that tonight too. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff over there. Wheels and levers. I'm gonna buy some beer tonight. Yeah, I bought an 18-pack of beer when I got done out there at Fort Laramie in October, and down to the last one. I haven't been drinking a whole lot here lately. Okay, I think we'll go with a veiner around the edge because that's about all I'm going to have room for. So last thing I'm going to do here wet it one more time. And the last thing we're going to do here, just to fix it up. And you notice when I wet this, I wet the whole thing. That just so it doesn't get a water stain. It stands out, because water stains will actually stand out through dye, especially a light coated dye like what these are going to get. All right. I'm just going to go around that with this Vayner, or no, it's camouflage, not a Vayner. Excuse me. I think it's, I don't remember all the names of these tools, to be honest. Very few, or some of them I don't use them. I don't remember what they're called. The one downside to these zinc ones, which is what Tandy and them all sell for about $8 now, you notice that one's starting to bend a little bit. So I'll eventually have to replace it. And good steel ones, my God. I went on Barry King, and they, don't get me wrong, Barry King makes some nice, fine tools. But, oh, damn it. $80 for a tool, per tool. That's getting a little bit ridiculous in my book for no more than what I do. You know, maybe someday when I have a fancy shop going and I'm making tons of money hand over fist, oh, hey, that squared out pretty good. I can swing one of those, but it ain't going to be today. All right, I'll go along this edge. Right on down here. And then this one's going to be just about done. The only thing on this one, the lace I got, that didn't come out quite square. The lace I got is 1/8 inch, and it's kangaroo. I paid $50 for this roll, and it was too small. I should have got the next size up, 9/16, but it's a little small for this, but I think I can make it work. And it'll be laced up on the back, and it's going to have a belt go through with a buckle on it for the tying it around your wrist. And I've seen some of those that you had to lace up all the way around, and those are a pain. My buddy Sam had a set that he didn't care for. But I don't know if that's far enough out. I'm just going to leave that little gap there. And yeah, I'm not as impressed with this one around the edge. I had another Vayner tool that had a really fancy one, but I've lost it somewhere. Come back a couple there. But yeah, I got to make a couple sets of these because my friend Caroline, she's a member of the Lions Club. Oh yeah, it was square on the other side, but it didn't on this side. She's a member of the Lions Club, and they got a dinner coming up here in a few weeks, and they usually run an auction on that. I told her I'd donate a set of these to the auction. Goes for a really good cause. I don't know what charity they do here, but it's for helping kids with vision, you know, get glasses and such. They raised quite a bit of money at that auction, so I thought, I'll donate a set of these, and that'll help out a little bit. But anyway, that one's done. So I went around the edge there with that vein or camouflage, whatever it is, basket weave. So that one is done. And I've been at it for an hour and a half. So it takes 3 hours to do a whole set of these, just the tooling part. But anyway, I don't think I'm going to do the other one on here tonight. Yeah, Gary, I was just saying, yeah, I'm still going. Sabater, how was the buffalo hunter situation in Fort Laramie during the height of it? Wasn't a lot going on for buffalo hunting days. And up here in the northern plains, that's 1880s is when they started hitting this northern herd that was up in this area. You see mention of them coming through, but not really to the extent like you'd see down in Kansas and places. Because there's just not a lot on them out here, to be honest. And a lot of it was a little bit further north. Most of the buffalo hunting that was done out here ties into the fur trade. And so one of the things that, when they think of the West and the buffalo hunters is that, yeah, there was a lot of white guys that come out, Americans come out, and, they freaking hunted the buffalo hard. But it really started, the decimation of those herds really starts in the very late 1830s and the 1840s. So about the time that beaver goes out, buffalo robes start to become that primary trade staple in the fur trade. And so once the traders realize that they can sell those hides and make a fairly decent profit off of them, they start to trade goods with the Indians for buffalo robes. And they figure, well, why send our guys out there, do all the work of hunting and tanning these hides? Because an untanned hide at that time, you couldn't give it away. Not like it was during the buffalo hunter days, and the railroads is what allowed that to happen. So the natives, they've been tanning buffalo for years. They use the robes for blankets. So the traders kind of introduced that idea that now this buffalo that is a food source, a clothing source, a tool source. Now it's a monetary source in those buffalo robes. They introduce that idea, and you really start to see those decimation of the herds. And it's the natives that they're hunting them, but it's certainly because of European influence. It's 100% European influence. Because for one buffalo robe, you could get, I forget, now off the top of my head, you get 2 knives for buffalo robe. You get a hank of beads for a buffalo robe. I think you could get a pint of whiskey. You could get a cup of sugar. You could get a pound of salt, a pound of tobacco. So the exchange rate was about $3 worth of goods. Northwest trade guns, they cost 7 to 10 buffalo robes each. They kind of introduced that idea that this is a money source. They just start to hunt them more for the hides. And there's an account down in Kansas in the 1850s, just prior to the Civil War, where the Pawnee outside of a fort in Kansas, and I cannot remember the name of that fort off the top of my head, but they say the Pawnee come in and they go out and they kill 1,500 buffalo simply for the tongues. That's all they killed them for, because tongues were worth a lot of money just outside the fort. So, they introduce that idea. They start to decimate the herds down. And, some of the natives, especially the Arapaho, start to notice this, and they're like, whoa, okay, our herds are starting to disappear, and these white guys have got us hunting them not in our traditional way. So the Arapaho get wise to it very early on. And of course, by the time the 1870s are come around, all the natives are like, oh, wow, these buffalo are really starting to disappear. And then you get 2 guys that come out west, the Moore brothers, and they're just looking to make money. And they go out and they shoot 30 buffalo. They take the hides back to New York. They take it to a tannery and they say, are these worth anything? The tanner says, well, give them to me. Let me tan them, see what I can do with them, and we'll figure out what the price is. And that tanner comes back to him and says, I'll pay you $3 each for every one you can bring in. And then it's just like with the beaver, it's a big gold rush. And so you got guys running out to the west. And this is a time where the country's in economic turmoil after the Civil War, kind of in a recession. And they just start hammering them buffalo down there in the 1870s down in the South, Oklahoma, Texas, Panhandle area, and it does not take very long for them to wipe them herds out. Um, but at that point in time, it's not like the herds were at their biggest numbers either. The other contributor to the demise of the buffalo is disease. So, the Anglos brought disease to the natives. Cattle brought disease to the buffalo, brucellosis, tick fever, things like that. Combine that all together and, wipes them out. But yeah, if you answer your question on that, Saboteur, yeah, at Fort Laramie, there's not a lot about buffalo hunters. Just that, there's some noted that come through, but wasn't a lot of activity real close to this area. All right. Yeah, Stephen, but thankfully, one of those cattle guys. Excuse me, my belt buckle's biting me. God dang, Goodnight, Mr. Goodnight. If it wasn't for him, we might not have any buffalo at all. They may have gone completely extinct. In fact, from what I've read, there's not very many genetically pure bison out there. Most of them are descendants of that Goodnight herd. And he took them on to mix them initially with cattle to produce a more hardier livestock animal. And then realized, they're disappearing. So a lot of the buffalo today have genetics tied clear back to Mr. Goodnight's herd because there wasn't a lot of buffalo left. And by the time you get into the late 1880s, there's so few buffalo left. I mean, it's just they got to the point where they're like, we're not even going to hunt them anymore. What hunting is done is just done for sport, not really for monetary gain. And so that's when you see the wolfers come in because the wolfers can go out and they shoot a buffalo. They cut off a big chunk of meat, cut that meat up into cubes like for stew meat, soak it in strychnine, go back to that carcass, punch holes all over it, stick that laced meat in there. You got 20 dead wolves the next day. And so that's why wolves got knocked out so much faster than the buffalo did. But yeah, they got to the point, there just wasn't worth even hunting them anymore. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Saboteur. There's a few pure buffalo herds out there. Not very many, but from what I was reading, it's like the buffalo nowadays, most of them are 99.9999, however many nines you want to stick on there, but there's not too many that are 100% left. Yeah, I think it was Goodnight. One of the big guys down in Texas. I may have had a brain fart and got him mixed up. I've been known to do that. But somebody, because I can't get on Google while I'm on the chat here, if somebody wants to double check that for me right quick and make sure I didn't tell you a lie, please do so. Saboteur, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. Wheels and levers. What's the difference between prairie wolves and coyotes? So the wolves that are running around out here in the 1800s are not really the same wolves that they're trying to reintroduce today. Coyotes were called prairie wolves too, but there were wolves, actual wolves. Canis. Oh God, now I can't remember the scientific name of them. Yeah, there was a subspecies of wolves that lived out here on the plains. Besides the coyotes, they were bigger, and so part of that wolf hunting there at the end of the 1800s, simply to make money, monetary gain, did a number to wipe them out, and then also at that point, ranchers are moving in, and wolves can be very detrimental to ranching. They do kill livestock, and wolves will do what they call a cash kill, especially if times are hard. They'll go out and they'll kill a whole bunch of animals, a bunch of calves, and then leave the carcasses there because they want to be able to come back and eat that later. But the thing with wolves is like I said, they were pretty easy to wipe out. They tried to do the same thing with coyotes. We still have coyotes today because coyotes are one of the most relentless animals out there in the world. They tried to wipe them out, and then in some places, coyotes started having 2 litters of pups a year. Um, so coyotes are very, it's not relentless is the word I'm looking for, but anyway, very hardy animal that survived. I'm not fond of coyotes, but I have a lot of respect for coyotes because they are survivors. Um, and yeah, that's why they're still running around out there today. Yeah, a lot of the wolves that are coming around that are being reintroduced now are of the Canadian variety, which are bigger. And just like there's buffalo up there in Canada that you wouldn't see down in here. The wooded bison, longer legs, are a little bit different, but yeah, Salvador, there was prairie elk, but the thing is that elk are migratory, and so in the summertime you'd find them out on the prairies. Or excuse me, I got that backwards. In the wintertime, you'd find them out in the, or summertime, you'd find them out in the mountains. Wintertime, you'd find them out here on the prairies. Um, and with white settlement of the West, Anglo settlement, and farming and ranching, they just kind of got pushed up into the mountains. But that's why they come out of the mountains in the wintertime, especially down in Colorado, San Luis Valley. In fact, I've seen the state of Colorado is starting to try to do a program to reduce the numbers. They've got a big elk reduction program going on down there right now in the San Luis Valley. Um, they're trying to knock the numbers down to get ahead of CWD because that stuff is running rampant through there. And Wind Cave National Park had to knock some elk down a few years ago. Rocky Mountain had to do that, and it's all kind of to prevent that CWD from going around because that CWD, you get all those animals together, they run out of food, they start eating their own poop, and it just goes around. Yeah, $100 tag, they'll go down. Yeah, no kidding, Salvador. No kidding. Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, elk were all over, and buffalo inhabited quite a bit of country too. All right, so I'm gonna go move this so it'll dry on a flat surface here, and then I'm gonna set the other one up here. I might try to get that done here today, and then maybe on the next chat I can. I'll probably have this line before then, but we can kind of start finishing this thing up. All right, and I grabbed my favorite beverage. I don't know what it is, but I am so addicted to Coca-Cola, it's not even funny. I tried drinking Pepsi. I used to drink Pepsi all the time. Pepsi don't cut it anymore. I gotta have Coke. I can drink 3 bottles of Pepsi and it don't satisfy. As soon as I get 1 bottle of Coke, I'm fine. But yeah, Sarah, Coca-Cola it's the demon child. Oh, and out of the can's best. Next best is Fountain, and then the last best is well, I'll take that back. Number one best is Mexican Coke. That stuff is great. The glass bottles with real sugar, and then canned Coke, Fountain Coke, and then bottle Coke, plastic bottle Coke. But it's Coke. It satisfies. Steven, I cannot drink Dr. Pepper. I just can't. I can drink it once in a while, but if I drink Dr. Pepper more than one week, it makes me sick. I just can't stand it. All right. This one you can tell was on a little bit of a curve in the leather. It's wanting to not sit so flat. Salvador, I might give that a try. Dr. Pepper and Coke. I tried tried Pepsi and Coke one time. That wasn't so good. Yeah, Garza, it really does. Oh man, when I find them, I buy them, but I try not to buy too many because holy Moses, they're a little spendy for no more than what's in that bottle, but well worth it. It's a real sweet treat to have one of those. Yeah, when it's made with real pure sugar and it's not this whatever the frick they use now. High fructose corn syrup, okay. But I think they put a heck of a lot more caffeine in there than what they tell you. 34. Oh, yeah, they do. No wonder I'm hooked on it. 34 milligrams of caffeine for a can, and that Pure Leaf tea that I drink's 15 milligrams for a big bottle. No wonder. All right. Well, I've been going for an hour and 15 here. Whoops. Hit a chat. Just somebody, as soon as somebody sent me a chat. Come on now. What's going on here? There we are. Scepter. No, you mentioned that. I had a whole bunch, and somewhere around here I still got them. So last year out at the fort, they had a bunch of sarsaparilla that had expired, so they couldn't sell it. So they was giving the stuff, and I'm talking about case on case on case. I think I probably brought home 10 or 12 cases of that stuff. So I was keeping the bottle caps out of there. And when I moved in with my friend Caroline there for a while, I told her, I says, you'll start keeping your beer caps and stuff. And she's like, why? I said, because Fallout, if, nuclear annihilation happens, we'll have money to spend. She gives me crap for that all the time. But yeah, somewhere I got a whole bunch of caps. But yeah, I've thought of that a lot. Yeah, because Fallout's one of my favorite video games. Fallout New Vegas was the best. Fallout 3 was okay. I liked it. But Vegas was the best. Fallout 4 is good. I wish they would go back and make another Vegas one or Mojave one. That one was that was so good. That was the best one of the series. But yeah, and Skyrim, I used to play that a lot. I don't play it hardly much anymore, but I used to love Skyrim. I still love it. I just don't do much with it. Yeah, Salvador, there's some guys that it's a mod that they're doing it on for New Vegas on the Fallout 4 platform. And it's slowly getting there, but I think it's only for the PC, and I've got it for the Xbox. All right. Yeah, Garza, if I ever make it down to Mexico, I'm going to go kind of on a Mexican war tour to all some of those places down there. I'd like to go down to Huamalta, where I think it's how you pronounce it, Huamalta. It's where Sam Walker was killed. I'd like to go down to Montezuma's Hall. Yeah, I'd like to do a big tour of that. I guess I'm going to go ahead and start this other one while I'm here on the chat. Franklin, yeah, I was thinking about that, and I'm sure that would fit in the Walker holster. Still got to see if it'll fit in a Walker holster, but I got to thinking, doing a flap on that, it's got a totally different grip frame than what the Walker has, and doing a flap without actually having the gun is a bit of a pain. And to be honest with you, making flaps for full flap holsters, that takes a lot of time and resources to do. Probably not going to get to it real soon. But I do have it on my list. My list of projects to work on. But it's not going to be up front in the priority, so I apologize for that. But that's going to be a pain. But as soon as I can get to where I can get a hold of one of those, I will see what I can do to go about and make a pattern for that. So no, I've not given up. I'm not going to be able to do it as quick as I thought I could. And I'm sure there's a simple, easy way to set up for a making flaps. I haven't discovered it yet. All right. Try to figure out where I put that Maker's Mark, get somewhat close. Whoops. Good thing I did a double look on that. I about did that upside down. I think I did it right about there. All right. And one of these days I got to get a impact hammer. One of those that's got the shot in it. Dead blow hammer. I gotta get a dead blow hammer so I can hit that a little more square. Separate. No, they don't sell repro ledgers. And they've got the Ward ledgers up in there. I think they, if you was to send an email to them and put in an information request, they might be able to. Don't quote me on that, but those ledgers are huge pages. I went through there looking for them one day because I was trying to find info on Mitch Boyer. I found out that he was from this area, and they had him listed in that Settlers book because I was doing some research on the Scouts, and I found that thing. I kept looking in the files, and it's like it wasn't in the filing cabinet where it was supposed to be at. What in the heck? Because years ago they had a lady that kind of went through there and took some files and moved them around. They didn't get back to where they were supposed to be at. But anyway, they trying to line this up here. Give me just a quick second. Anyway, I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked, and finally one day I got tired of it and I looked up and it was sitting on top of the filing cabinet because it was too big to go into it. Such a huge file. And so I went through that, and it's big, but a lot of it was like, what I was looking for on Mitch Boyer. It was how much he owed when he died, which I think it was $68 is what he owed the store when he died. But what's interesting on that with the Boyers, they grew up in this area. And Mitch's brother, John Boyer, was the first man legally hung in the state of Wyoming in 1872. Because out at the 6 Mile Hog Ranch, which was 6 miles from Fort Laramie, he got into an altercation and killed 2 men in 1871. And they caught him shortly thereafter, and then he escaped, and then he got caught again in 72, and they took him down to Cheyenne, tried him, and hung him. He was the first, like I said, legal execution in the state of Wyoming. Of course, it was a territory at the time, but it was funny that the Boyers were from this area. So they always tell us out there, we don't have that much ties to Custer at Fort Laramie, but actually there's quite a few ties to Fort Laramie out there with Custer. Custer himself was never there, but in 1874, the other tie is that when he discovered gold in the Black Hills, on his 1874 Black Hills expedition. He sent his scout, Charles Reynolds, Lonesome Charlie Reynolds, down to Fort Laramie because Fort Laramie had a telegraph station. And Lonesome Charlie Reynolds sent out that telegraph that said of the gold, or told of the gold discovery, and then by 1875, everybody's flocking to the Black Hills for the gold. Government tries to renegotiate the 68 treaty with Red Cloud to initially the idea when they brought him in was to purchase or lease the Black Hills for mineral rights. And of course, Red Cloud and Spotted Tail were against it at first, and then Red Cloud kind of got of the opinion, Spotted Tail's whale, is that if they didn't sell it, they would take it. The army come in and take it from them anyway. And so they tried to get a big chunk of money out of it, more than what the government was wanting to offer, and things went downhill from there. All right. But yeah, that's our ties to Custer's, Lonesome Charlie and Mitch Boyer. And I'm sure there's a few other ties. Okay. See, Wheels and Letter says, I got a Ruger Black Hawk and 45 Colt. Need to do a review on that. Some serious power in the Ruger 45, much more powerful than 44 Magnum. Yeah, you can get them 45 Colts can be loaded up. 44 Magnum's kind of a, back in the day it was this big thing, but nowadays it's just kind of a, I don't know how to put it. It's not as impressive. See, Franklin says he was under orders to find gold. That makes the position of the government a foregone conclusion. Yeah, the government was doing dirty things then. And Custer fought Sitting Bull twice, actually. The 1876 Battle of Little Bighorn's the famous one, but in 1873, the government was trying to put a railroad up along the Yellowstone, and so they had the Yellowstone expedition, and Custer actually fought Sitting Bull up in the Yellowstone in 1873. And then in 74, they sent him down through the Black Hills. Yeah, Wheels, yeah, Edward Rose, Jim Beckworth. And funny thing about Jim Beckworth, notorious liar and horse thief, as my one friend that does living history says. My buddy Henry Crawford, man, that guy does a lot. He does a lot of Buffalo Soldier, Buffalo Hunter, fur trade, Texas Revolution. I mean, he does a lot of stuff. But as he said, he was a liar and horse thief. And he actually takes credit for things that we now know that Mr. Rose actually did. And Edward Rose come out, he was probably one of the first black trappers out in the West, come out with the Ashley crew. But I did not know that the Boyers were mulattoes. That was a new one on me. I was under the assumption, and that's probably because I haven't read that much on him in particular, but I just assumed with the Boyer name he was French descent because there was a ton of those out here. I just know that one picture they got of Mitch Boyer that they had on that one documentary about the Little Bighorn, that's not Mitch Boyer. It was a known, I think it was a Ute Indian that they had a picture of. And yeah, the Army, the government, just the government in general. And, I've had this discussion before with people about, the 51 treaty being violated, but the 51 treaty is a little hazy when it comes to that, because they negotiated the treaty out here, and Thomas Broken Hand Fitzpatrick was the one that did that. He was a trapper for a lot of years. He was part owner in the Rocky Mountain Fur Company for a lot of years, and had quite a bit to do out here at Fort Laramie, and then became Indian agent for the Upper Platte and Arkansas River Agency. And he organized the treaty to negotiate safe travel through the West. The thing about that treaty is they sent it back after they negotiated out here with the natives. They sent it back to be ratified by Congress, and Congress made changes. And I don't remember all the changes off the top of my head, but then they sent it out. I know they changed the amount of annuities and the amount of years to pay those annuities. So Congress sends it back out here to be approved by the natives. The natives are like, well, we already talked about this. It's done. And so the question arises, being Congress never ratified, was it really a binding treaty? And that leads problems during Red Cloud's wars. In Red Cloud's opinion, that was a treaty. It was done and said. They weren't supposed to be in that area. Just was for the the Oregon Trail was the only road, and the Bozeman Trail was a violation of the treaty, as well as the forts are being there. And so, it leads to that, and then they come back with a 68 treaty. And that 68 treaty, that was supposed to be finalized and all that. Well, as soon as they discover gold in the Black Hills, that's when things kind of start going downhill fast. And I'll give Grant a little credit. He did try to negotiate at first. But Sherman and Sheridan, they were fighting men. They fought in the Civil War. That's all they knew, the only way they knew how to solve problems, and they finally talked Grant into doing it their way, and that leads to the Great Sioux War of 1876. But, that kind of viewpoint goes back a long time, because if you look back during the Lincoln administration, he did some nasty things too. There's the incident of the Dakota 38 during the Minnesota War, where they hung 38 members of the Dakota tribe after they'd had a little rebellion, or I shouldn't say rebellion, uprising, after their little fight. Hung 38 of them. Right after that, he gave orders to Kit Carson to go against the Navajo. And the orders that Kit Carson got were to kill all men, capture the women and the children, and bring them back to Bosque Redondo. Or, not Bosque. Yeah, it was Bosque. Anyway, bring them back down there to a place in New Mexico, basically a reservation. Well, Kit didn't follow orders completely. He didn't kill all the men. He captured as many as he could, and he did burn the crops. I mean, same tactic that was used throughout all of the Plains warfare. Burn their food out. If they ain't got nothing to eat, and they're hungry, and they're cold and miserable, they're more likely to cooperate. But it all come down from Lincoln. All right, I need to read through here. Let's see. Stephen, I'm looking at eBay. All custom stamp makers are in Hong Kong or Ukraine. Yeah. Oh, there's a good guy out of Ukraine. Sergey something. I think he's out of Ukraine. Makes very nice stamps. Wheels and Letters Rose was way back with John Coulter, and he managed to stay long enough to get around with Jedi Smith, Hugh Glass, and those boys with Ashley. Yeah, he was around for a long time. Savner, what I do like about the contrast between 5168 treaties is that the Powder River Country went from Crow to Lakota territory. That's very true. That's very true. But even Sitting Bull up there, Little Bighorn, that was in under the 68 treaty. It was under Crow territory. But of course, Sitting Bull wasn't didn't partake in that 68 treaty. But yeah, the Crow, they lost a lot of territory in those. Everything kind of got moved around. Let's see, Franklin Horst. On the other hand, I don't think both cultures could exist as they were side by side. It probably wouldn't have worked that well. But Savner, back on your comment, it's like, yeah, the Lakota had that territory for a while, but then everybody, all the native tribes, lost a lot. And the Lakota lost a lot. Everybody lost a lot. Let's see, Doug Dukes here. Starting to question the archaeological report done at Custer. Starting to question the archaeological report done at Custer Park after they found out military had used it as a firing range in the 80s. Okay. I did not know that one. Yeah, Franklin, yeah. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, the tactic that they used on the natives, they used on the South. Sherman burned Georgia pretty much to the ground. Total war, I think. Yeah, it's total war, they called it. And unfortunately, like with the Reynolds fight, they weren't real particular about who they attacked. They just kind of figured everybody was hostile at that point and hit a peaceful village of Cheyenne and burned them out. Let's see, I've seen this one here. Wheels and Levers, much of the territory of the Lakota were claiming as part of the Crow territory by the 68 treaty. Yeah, especially up around the Little Bighorn area, because that's part of the Crow agency now, and it's part of the Crow reservation. But the natives moved around a lot. So that the territory that the Lakota were claiming, they were relatively new to that territory, generally speaking. The Cheyenne were fairly new to the territory. In fact, the Cheyenne, the Southern Cheyenne, when they got on the Arkansas River, they'd only been there a handful of years before they William Bent. They've been there a few years before William Bent come in, and then when he offered a trading opportunities to them, then they kind of moved down in there. The Northern Cheyenne stayed up here in this Fort Laramie area, and the Lakota were just starting to reach this area at that point. And then when the Fort Laramie gets established as a fur trading post, especially Fort John days, that buffalo robe trade, that's when they really start to move into this area, because a lot of buffalo in this area at that time. And this trading opportunity, this trading post to come and get goods. And so initially, the relations were pretty cordial for the most part. And they stayed fairly cordial up until a young lieutenant by the name of Grattan wanted to go make a name for himself. And he attacks a village that, of Oglalas and Brulés, however you pronounce that. They attacks them to try to prove himself, and that pretty much sets the course for war for the next 20-some years. All right, here. Savner, Crows got the last laugh. They made the bank on the Lakota victory. Yeah, that's true. There is some truth to that. Yeah, Franklin, I heard that one too, and I don't know how that's going to all play out, but, we'll see. But, Oklahoma was supposed to be Indian territory. I mean, that's what it was set aside for, and then they opened it up for homesteading. That's where you get the Sooners. I got all my family, both sides of my family comes out of Oklahoma. Um, my grandfather was born there. My great grandfather was born there. My mom was born there. I think her mom was born down in there. Her dad, I don't know where her dad was born at. But I think he was born in Texas. Um, yeah, that was traditionally supposed to be all native territory. My grandfather grew up on the Cherokee Nation down in there. In fact, when I was little, I remember him telling stories about life down there on the Cherokee Nation. And then when the Depression hit, they moved up to Colorado. And then my mom moved up to Colorado and met my dad. And then decided to have us in Colorado. All right. Yeah, Garza, I'm Scottish descent, and I don't know what happened. I just lost all my chats. So anybody that commented just before Garza did, I just lost it all. So I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, don't know what happened on that. Unless I hit something wrong. Oh, there they are. Yeah, Steven said, okay, yeah. Yeah, I see, Frank. I don't know what happened there. That all of a sudden I just had that one, but yeah. Steven says, whatever you do, don't tell me the son of a Cherokee princess. No, no, and legally, I'm quarter Cherokee because my grandfather was born there, and he was supposedly adopted in. Um, my great grandfather's on the rolls. Um, but yeah, so legally, I am one quarter. If you go by blood quantum, I ain't got a drop. I think I came out as like 0.1%. Because I did have one relative that she was an eighth when she married into the family, but being as they lived down there on the reservation, or on the nation, I should say, not the reservation, they didn't call it the res. And yeah, so my great grandfather's father, my great great grandfather, supposedly he married in and got farmland down there, and then I don't know what happened to all that. I think the first wife died in childbirth with their oldest, and then that child died at 12 years of age in a farming accident. Fell under a plow while he was plowing a field. But when he married again, he married a white woman because he already had the farmland. So, but yeah, my grandfather he grew up down there on the Cherokee Nation, and I had a little screw up there. Good thing it's down on the bottom side. Well, now Stephen, you say only people with a measurable quantum. I was talking with a guy this summer that was from Oklahoma, and he was Cherokee, and his skin was very pale, but you could see it in his facial features that he had quite a bit of Cherokee in him. And I was talking with him, and I said, "Yeah," I said, I told him the same story, about my grandfather, and he looked at me and he says, "As far as I'm concerned, you're one of us." And he said, however the tribal government does things, he says, the people down there, he says, as far as I'm concerned, you're one of us. But I've always thought about it'd be nice to go back down there and see that area, Oklahoma. I've not actually been to that part. All right, I gotta screw up here, so I gotta see if I can straighten this son of a gun out. God bless it. Boy, that really got screwy there. Like I said, good thing it's on the bottom because that one is really noticeable on that curve. Jesus, Lou, how did I... Boy, I put a curve in that. My God. Must be getting tired. Must be about time to quit. Woof. All right, let's see here. Sabater says, don't feel bad. My friend is less than a quarter. He can't grow a mustache, but has a red beard. We're currently at the Odwada and Jibwar split as a traditional. Oh, gotcha, Steven. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny on that Saturday when I was up on the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation. There was a girl up there that was half Lakota, and if you was to look at her, you could not tell that she had any native in her at all. She was a blue-eyed blonde. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. And there was another guy up there I knew that he wasn't, actually didn't have a lot of Lakota in him, and you couldn't have told me that he wasn't Lakota. Or he didn't have that much Lakota in him. It's amazing how sometimes those genetics work. Yeah, but supposedly, too, on my mom's side, I was supposed to have had some Cherokee in me, too, and I think that was a little bit of hogwash. Saturday, my math teacher worked for enrollment and showed us how to calculate blood quantum. Yeah. And that blood quantum stuff, I kind of get, it aggravates me at some point, but I can understand why they want to do it, but it's like, I think a lot of it comes down to if you've been raised in that culture, if that's been all you are, who you were all your life, that's what you are. Let's see, Will's Lars. My paternal grandmother was half Wichita. Make me can't tell. She was really dark. She didn't like to admit she was Indian. Yeah, there are some of that. That's a good one. I'm not going to repeat it. That's good. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Stephen, you're right there. Thing is, I did my DNA test. My grandmother always said that there was African American in my lineage because my family came out of Georgia. They owned slaves, and there are a lot of black folks that have my name, the exact same spelling as my name, and no doubt that was probably one of my relatives that um, owned them at one point in time in history. But when I took that DNA test, I am 99.9% European. I'm the epitome of a white boy, genetically. Don't ask me how that happened. You would think as much of a mixing pot as this country is, there would have been a little bit more variety there. But no, it's all England and Wales. A lot of it's Scotland, or England. So Scotland, the way that they broke it down is like the majority of it is Scotland, England, Wales, and then they broke down another section where it was Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and then there was a smaller section they broke down where it was England, Ireland, and Wales, and then there was a good chunk that was Scandinavian. There was a very small chunk that was Normandy, just Normandy in France. And being that the Scottish settled that at one point, I'm not surprised there. I had a very small hit in Germany, and on my grandmother's side, we did have one relative that come over from Germany, and he fought in the Civil War. Pretty much got off the boat, and they gave him a rifle and went to the Civil War for the Union. Yeah, I was really surprised by that. And then I had 0.1% Lebanese. And I was like, how in the heck does Lebanese mix into this anywhere? And I got to talking with a friend that is also a descendant of a Cherokee. And he says, yeah, I got the same thing. And he says, all my Cherokee family members got the same thing. And apparently Cherokee and Lebanese on those DNA tests cross-reference, cross-check each other. So that's why I do know I've got a little bit, just a tiny fraction of Cherokee in my blood. All right, let's see here. So Saber says my grandmother was full, but her mom was Sikangu, and her dad was Oglala. On paper, she was half each. Yeah, really though, I mean that happened historically, so I would say it's all Lakota, just a little different group. It'd be like Scotland, Frasers versus McDonald's. Let's see. Steven says a lot of elders felt that way as government did the best to take the heritage from. Yeah. Franklin Duke's Youth Camp. Jesus. Saturday, welcome to your catch ears, Aerosoft, go fight. Yeah, pretty much. Wheels and Levers, my father's side, come from the Netherlands to Virginia in 1640, moved to Texas after the Civil War. Yeah, and I traced my family lineage on my dad's side, so the Frasers, I traced them. They got kicked out of England in I got kicked out of Britain in 1763. Came to South Carolina, where they got a farm, and then from there, the next generation went to Georgia. Yeah, went down to Georgia. And then you just kind of follow the cotton belt there for a little bit. And then, for whatever reason, one of them decided to move out to St. Louis and was out there for a spell. And then they went down into Oklahoma. One of my relatives was supposedly married into the Cherokee Nation before they were relocated. And relocated with him, but it wasn't a direct descendant. Then about the turn of the century, my great-grandfather married into the Cherokee Nation and got that farmland. So before they even opened it for settlement, he got in down there, and then that's where the family stayed until my grandfather come about, and then, like I said, they moved to Colorado after that, 1930s. But I come from a long line of farmers, so you think with all that farmer in me that I'd enjoy farming. And farming, I'll be honest, is not my favorite occupation. Whoops, I got off on that one. Alright, I'm going to have to draw my line, but that's not going to come out square. I'll finish up this row here. So I guess I am going to finish this one on the chat the way it's looking. Although I'm going to have to go here because I'm down. Yeah, I'm going to have to shut it off. I'm down to 15% of my battery. So we've been going for about 2.5 hours. I'll give it 3 more minutes here. You know, Saboteur, I've thought about doing that. I thought about learning Cheyenne, too. I know a few words. I know it was surprising, you know, all the time I was up there on the Cheyenne River Reservation, I didn't learn very much Lakota. I know Washte, Kola, and Lila Washte. Well, that's about it. Oh, Tatanka, Washichu, and all those. That was funny. It was one of my friends up there. He started calling me by a Lakota name. And I finally asked him one day, I said, "What in the heck are you calling me?" And he said it translated out to Little White Indian. So it was something Washichu. I don't even remember. But yeah, I do. I should try to learn Lakota. But from what I understand, it's a very complex language. Let's see here, Stephen. Hand sign. I do know the hand sign language very well. I've got the 4 best books written on it. I'll show those, and then I got to sign off here because I got to plug my phone in. So Washicho Chilaka is Little White Man. Okay, or did I say that right? Sikala. Okay. Yeah, they called me that because I tanned brain, or I did brain tanning up there and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so yeah, on the hand talk, this is a great one to start with to learn. It's a relatively new one. It doesn't have the same cover anymore, but Denny Leonard has that great book. The next one that's out of print is Seaton. Seaton is really good because he has the pictorial diagrams for a lot of these. The really in-depth one is Clark. Clark's got some good stuff in there. And then the other one to learn with is Tompkins. And those are the 4 reference books, and I do the sign very well. The thing is, I can make the sign. It's hard for me to recognize it because I don't know anybody in this area. I've never had a chance to have it made at me, so it's like, you know, I can make it, but I don't read it, as you would say. But anyways, I'm going to shut this off because, like I said, I got to plug my phone in here because I got to have that in a little bit. But thank you all for joining me. I wish I could have finished this up here on the chat here, but I don't think that's going to work out tonight. But I should be able to get it finished here in the next half hour or so. But anyway, thanks again. Thank you all for joining in. It's been a wonderful chat. I've enjoyed it all. Thanks for all the input on the history. I love to share that history with everybody. Let's see. I'll get over here on the last few chats here. Always ask my younger daughter how her mother got so big. She says she doesn't know. The reply will come. Oh God, no, that's bad. Oh boy. I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, those 4 books are pretty good sources. But anyway, I'm going to sign off here now. Thank you all for coming on. Hopefully here we'll do another one soon. Like I said, 3rd of December, sometime that evening, we'll be doing a history chat. So y'all stay safe. Keep your powder dry. Catch you on the next one.